What is up, everybody? Verse TV here today. So I just did the video talking about the Spider-Man 2 trailer. My thoughts about that trailer just revealed from San Diego Comic-Con. Now Sony fanboys are making crazy narratives that is just insane. So we have this one fanboy saying RIP Xbox and Starfish, aka No Man's Sky clone, hashtag Spider-Man 2. So it's like they can't just be happy that they have a great game coming out this year, but they have to take shots at the biggest Xbox game coming out this year as well. So he is bigging up Spider-Man 2, which that game looks great to me. But he is downplaying Starfield, which is kind of crazy because at one point this guy was excited for Starfield as well. But you know, since it got announced to be Xbox exclusive, he's just trashing Starfield, I guess now. But you know, I don't see why they both just can't have their. I can't see why both PlayStation and Xbox can both have their great game this year. Why do you have to trash the other one? I don't know, but this is how these Sony fanboys work. They have to trash Xbox any chance possible. So, bro was hyped for the cutscenes as usual. It's Spider-Man, bro. It's not a big deal. Like, we're being honest, like, Spider-Man is gonna be great for maybe like a week. Like, I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's gonna be great for a week. Starfield's gonna be a game you play for like years, probably a decade at this point. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to compare the two. They're pretty different games. There's no need to compare them. Why can't two games both exist and be good? I agree. Why do you have to have this whole war of the big exclusives? It's kind of like if you got both consoles, you're gonna play both of them. If you only have one console, most likely gonna play the big exclusive or your console that you do got. So I don't see why you need to do the comparison. Why can't both have their time to shine? Yeah, I agree, but enough of this ridiculous the post about this ridiculous guy's post, comments about this ridiculous guy's post. But let's focus on another Sony fanboy, MBG, who just says that, hey, PlayStation's had consistent titles, first-party titles come out this year. And it's like, really? What year is he talking about? It's definitely not been this year, but let's play the clip of this guy coping about PlayStation this year. Like, sure, I'm excited for Spider-Man as well, but come on, you can't be like this year has been great for PlayStation first-party wise. Well, let's play the clip.
I can't speak for anybody but myself, and you know, if somebody were to say I'm not happy, I think it's been weak. It hasn't been nearly as good as I thought. You know, each their own. But yeah, I still think about sometimes the launch of the PS5 and how excited I was to play something like Demon Souls and
A PS3
Astro,
game.
Miles Morales, and
Really?
pretty much.
I mean, like they each their own, but you excited to play Demon Souls, a PS3 game with better visuals. Okay, it's still a PS3 game. If you played the PS3 game, you played exactly the same way. They didn't change too much besides the visuals. Astrobot, which was like a tech demo, I never finished that game because it's just a gimmicky tech demo. Like you're blowing the controller, gyrating the controller, moving it around, like you're doing all this with the controller, just wiggling around and stuff like that. Like, come on, like who gives a crap? Like, I don't know. People big up the Astros Playroom, but I just didn't get it. Like, I didn't see the hype. It's just like a big tech demo, big whoop-de-doo. What was the other game you named? Miles Morales was a cool game, but I played that on my PS4 first. So I kind of take away the hype from me playing on the PS5 because I played on the PS4 first. So
Since then, it's been very consistent.
no, it hasn't.
It's been very consistent.
No, it
Now, whether or
hasn't.
not every game that's come out is your cup of tea or the type of game that you've been looking forward to, hard to say. Saying this year's not good? Well, the year's not over, Lord Cannon. The year's not over.
Bro, PlayStation first party this year has been PSVR, heavy focus on that, which 10 or maybe 5 to 10%, maybe I'm being way too generous, maybe 3% of the game community actually cares about PSVR 2. And he says that's like very consistent. Like, no, they launched peripheral that most people don't care about who plays video games. And then you had a Horizon DLC. Who cares? It's not an actual game. First Spoken, which is Square Enix, but sometimes these Sony fanboys count third party as a first party situation. They got lack of content, like this guy's about to do a Final Fantasy 16, but this year has been pretty dry for PlayStation first party content. It's probably been one of the worst years for PlayStation first party content besides Spider-Man saving the day. It's kind of ironic. He's saving PlayStation this year because it's just been pretty dry and lackluster. But let's continue.
I mean, if you're judging the year so far, even then I still disagree because, as I said, I just platinumed Final Fantasy 16 after putting nearly 100 hours into it, and I can tell you, like, that is a highlight of the year for me. That is,
once again, that's a third-party game though. Sony paid them because their year was so sparse in content. So it's like it just shocks me how they count third-party games as first-party and just give Sony a W for that one. It's like, no, Sony paid Square Enix to keep it off the Xbox platform. But it's like, is that really a W at that point? I don't know. But yeah, this year's been pretty lackluster. This year has been pretty much comparable to Xbox's 2022 year of sparseness for first-party content. Sony's going through the same year of sparseness, but you know, he says it's been dropping consistent bangers for PlayStation. It's like that's not been the case.
my game of the year so far, and you know, that's a game that Sony, they locked down and they said, look, we got this game coming for you on PS5 in June. Look forward to it. And I did. And Forspoken wasn't my thing. And I will agree that the first half of 2023 was weaker in terms of exclusive output than...
At least he admits that. I'm about to say, like I say, how are you capping for this year? This year's been trash for PlayStation first-party content. Like, really? You're just playing multi-plats on it. Like, okay.
What I'm used to from Sony. That I do agree with. But luckily, during the first half of 2023, I think we were pretty much carried by just stellar third-party releases. A lot of third-party releases.
But then again, when Xbox is care about third-party releases, they say Xbox has no games. That's just fascinating how, you know, Sony has the right, they can just be cared about third-party as no, you can't complain about it. But, you know, Xbox, we care about third-party like they were in 2022. Then it's like Xbox has no direction. Phil needs to go. Xbox is just bad because they got no games. It's just fascinating how these new narratives just pop up conveniently when it's favorable for Sony or negatively for Xbox. It's just fascinating.
Great ones. So, you know, the fact that the year isn't over, again, man, Helldivers 2, Spiderman 2, like to close out the year with Spiderman 2.
I keep hearing people talk about Helldivers 2. Like, I haven't heard of that game, so I don't know. I might have to check it out because people keep mentioning that game. I don't know if there's like some copium to try to say that game's good, but I don't know. I can't really speak about that game because I haven't played it or like even seen anything about it. But I just keep seeing people mention that Helldivers 2 game. So I don't know. Are they just full of cap at that point? Is it actually good? I don't know. I gotta see what that game is about because I keep hearing a mention for a PlayStation game, so I will check that one out. But yeah, let's do you.
I don't know, man. If Helldivers 2 is as good as I'm thinking it's going to be, or I get as much fun out of it as I'm expecting to get, and Spider-Man 2 is as good as we're all expecting it to be, that on top of all the third-party games, to me it's going to feel like 2023 was a pretty great year.
Great year for third party wise, but great for PlayStation? I don't know. I think this guy is probably high on his own supply. I think this guy's crazy. So yeah, 2023 is a great year for PlayStation. Like, they give you one good trailer and these guys are losing their minds. So this is just an amazing year for PlayStation when it's been like super dry for most of the year. So it's just wild. He sounds like he's fighting back tears. Oh, like he's smiling on the outside but crying on the inside type of thing. They always have excuses. They always do because it's like, at least the Amazing Lucas was honest that he didn't really like this year. And he's being more harsh about Spider-Man than I think most people are at this point, but no, at least he's honest. But these other Sony guys be like, they drop consistent games this entire year. Like, really? Like, I wasn't seeing it at all. Doesn't this dude consistently complain about Xbox exclusivity? Yet here he is, it's touting it for PlayStation. Yes, he does. The hypocrisy is real. He mentioned Final Fantasy 6? Like this in the internal, I guess he meant 16, like it's in internal development. PlayStation has one first party game the whole year. Yeah. One first party game. But you know, PlayStation has consistent hits. That's what he said. It's just craziness. Like, I'm not hating on Spider-Man. I look forward to that game, but they only had one big game this year. And we hear Sony fanboys talk about these exclusive bangers, but where were they at? Just one exclusive banger this year? Oh man, like once again, like I said before, if it was Xbox, they'll be getting crucified. They'd be saying Xbox has no direction, Game Pass is ruining gaming, Phil needs to go. But when it's PlayStation, they can just have one good game, and it's like we have consistent hits. It's like the hypocrisy just knows no bounds at this point. Then a lot of annoying fanboys say Xbox has no games because they're all third-party exclusives from 2022. How is that different now from than when it's PlayStation? Question I want to have answered to at this point. Like, there's no difference, literally. There's no difference. My, how quickly the narrative changes when Xbox only offers 2 first-party games. As long as you have a lot of third-party support in a year, it don't count Bethesda to save Xbox's ass. Okay. We have more than one first-party game released this year. Spider-Man 2, Horizon Call of the Mountain. so PSVR 2 is what he... like, I'm not trying to be rude, but nobody cares about PSVR 2. Like, geez. Obviously, there's a small minority of people who care about it, but the vast majority of people don't care about it. So it's like, it's not even worth mentioning. You guys, man. Maybe I'm just a hater for PSVR, I guess. I don't know. I just don't care about it whatsoever, but yeah. It's just that once they get a Spider-Man trailer, it's just like the hypocrisy just goes through the roofs at this point, because he's saying the PlayStation just released amazing games this year when they haven't. And other guys saying RIP to Starfield. It's just the No Man's Sky clone. It's going to be like the biggest game of this year, probably the biggest game of this generation, so... I just don't say you can compare the two. It's just stupid to compare the two. And I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Man 2 sells more, because once again, Spider-Man is the most popular superhero licensed, recognizable worldwide. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does more financially. But in the long haul, I think Starfield is going to do better, because that's a game that people are going to just play for decades, probably for years upon years, probably a decade. They'll be playing Starfield like they did with Skyrim and the Fallout game. So it's kind of weird to compare the two, but these Sony fanboys are on a big high right now because of the trailer reveal. So they're definitely like in a field of pony aces, I guess, at this point, whatever you want to call it. That series of high they're getting from that trailer reveal. But I am going to include it right here. I think these Sony fanboys need to get knocked down a peg, need to get off their high horses, no pun intended. But yeah, they are just losing their minds about this gameplay reveal and saying it's so much better than what Xbox is doing. It's really not. So those are just my thoughts. Want to see your thoughts down below. Leave a like for this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.